Rodri was bored. He was on a school trip to the South Wales Miners Museum and he was bored. The class were being shown around the museum by a man called Jack, and he told them how he used to work in a coal mine. He showed them all equipment that they used, but Rodri was bored. Jack showed them the strange lamps and things to check for gas in the mine. The man was telling the class what it was like to work underground in the dark mine shaft. Rodri's friends were all interested in Jack's story, and with Jack's objects, Rodri just trailed along behind them. After a while, they turned a corner and came into a brightly lit room containing lots of different books and objects that were used by the miners. Some of the objects were very old, and Jack told them they'd been given to the museum by people who had worked in the mine. Jack explained that some of the objects had been used by men and women who had started work when they were children. Rory thought he was just saying a joke. Children weren't allowed to work, especially when they were only 10. I'm 10, thought Roddy. I wouldn't be allowed down a mine. Jack showed them a funny-looking shovel. The shovel was very wide and almost flat. Jack called it a curling box. He used to fill the carts with the coal the miners dug out the mine. It was one of the jobs a child would do, Jack told him. The children took turns picking up the curling box and were amazed at how heavy it was. Jack asked them to try and imagine what it would feel like when it was full of coal. Rod was even more convinced that Jack was joking. After all, no child would be able to do that all day long. While Jack was talking, Rod looked around the room and noticed a smaller box room inside. Roddy wanted to know what was inside, so he decided to have a look. The small room had been made to look like a room in a house, a kitchen like an old person might have had. There was no telly or comfy furniture. There's a metal tin with a big doll singing near the fireplace. Meanwhile, Jack was showing the rest of the class lots of stuff in the glass cupboards. Roddy just yawned. Ugh, I'm so bored with all this mining stuff. Jack told the children it was time to leave the museum, and they all started to make their way out. Oh, good, thought Rodri. We're leaving at last. As he turned to join his class, Rodri spotted a lad's suitcase in the corner. What's this, he asked. Jack turned to Rodri and replied, that's the dressing up box. It's full of old clothes that children wore long ago. Rodri thought it'd be fun to try on and started to think how we could do this. Just then his teacher, Mrs. Thomas, called to them to come and eat their packed lunches. The class left the museum. Rodri followed and sat on the floor eating his ham sandwich, thinking about the dressing up box. When they'd finished lunch, Mrs. Thomas told the class they could have a look around the shop or go outside for some fresh air. Oh, no bother about shops or fresh air. That was when Rodri had an idea. While Mrs. Thomas and the teachers were all busy with the other children, Rodri crept back into the museum. It was dark inside, and he was all alone. The room with the dressing up box was kept was empty. The box was open, and Rodri saw lots of very old-fashioned clothes inside. He began to rummage around and brought out a scruffy jacket and a pair of trousers made of heavy wool. Rodri thought they'd be very hot and scratchy, but decided to try them on. The jacket and trousers fitted him perfectly, and he found a scarf and a flat cap to go with them. Rodri wound the scarf on his neck and placed the cap on his head. Suddenly, there was a very loud bang, and a flash of bright light made Rodri jump, and he shut his eyes against the glare. When he opened his eyes again, he found himself on a mountain road. The museum and his friends were with no one in sight. Roddy looked around and saw lots of people walking slowly along the road. It was dark, but there was a faint glow in the sky. "Come along, boy," said a man walking beside him. "You have to be quicker than that if you want to be late for your shift." My shift, thought Roddy. What did he mean? Confused and unsure, he followed this man. "What's your name? What's your name, boy?" "Roddy Parkinson," he replied. "Parkinson? Not English, you?" No, said Roddy. "I'm from Port Talbot." "Well," said the man, "you can be my new buddy. My name is William Jenkins, Will for short, I'll show you what to do." Roddy walked down the road with Will. They came to some buildings. One of the buildings had a big wheel. As Roddy walked closer, he could see men, women, and even children in the cage, taking them down a big hole in the ground. Will gave Roddy a slight nudge. "Here we are," he said. "Down we go." Will led Roddy over to the wheel. A horse was tethered to it and was turning the wheel as he walked in a circle. A platform was attached to the wheel by a chain and was being lowered down the hole. Two men and a boy, who looked about the same age as Roddy, were standing on it. Roddy watched as they disappeared down in the mine. "We'll be next," said Will. Roddy was stunned. "Are you serious? It looks very dark down there. I don't think I want to go down." Will laughed. "Nobody wants to go down, boy. But if you have to want to earn money, you've got to go down." Roddy was very nervous and scared. The platform came back up and they got on. "Hold tight," said Will, and they dropped down into the darkness. It was cold, smelly, and very dark in the mine. The ceiling was so low, they were forced to crawl along the floor. "Follow me," said Will. "It's not far." After about 10 minutes of crawling along the dusty, dirty, smelly tunnel, Will stopped by a pile of tools. "These are what I use to dig the coal out," Will explained, and he showed Roddy a pickaxe and one of the funny-looking shovels that Roddy had seen in the museum. I know what that is," said Roddy. "It's a curling box." Will was impressed. "Do you know what it's for?" Will asked. Roddy told him that Jack had said about it. "Quite right," said Will. "Only I don't fill it. That's your job, Bach." Will looked around for the cart but saw nothing. "The cart's not there," he said. "We'll have to go in and get it in further down the shaft," Will explained. Will and Roddy crawled further along the tunnel until they came to a door. Will knocked and called out. "Go on, love! Open up, Bach, it's Will!" To Roddy's surprise, the door opened and a little girl stuck her head out. "Hello, Will," she said. "Oh, hello! There's a new boy with today. His name is Roddy." Gwen smiled. "Gwen is a trapper," he explained. "She makes the doors that are always shut, so the tunnels stay clear." Gwen was very small. "Have you got a candle?" Will asked. "Yes, thank you. And Mum gave me some cheese for my break," she replied. "Make sure you keep an eye on it and you don't want the rats to eat it," said Will. Roddy was starting to worry. Being down the mine was nothing like the museum. Will and Roddy found their empty cart and dragged it back to where they were to be working. "Right, now then, Bach. Right, my boy," said Will. "Time to get started." Will handed Roddy the curl box and told him to fill it with the coal he took out. When it was full, Will told him to empty it into the cart. Oh, God, the box was very heavy, and Roddy struggled to lift it. They worked what seemed like hours to Roddy until the cart was full. Now we have to take the coal back to the lift and put it on the platform to go up on top. Then bring it back down so we can fill it again. Oh, Roddy was so tired. But he said nothing as Will buckled a thick leather belt around his waist. There was a rope attached to it, which was tied to the cart. Roddy began to drag the cart through the tunnel. Wish this was a Tesco trolley, thought Roddy. It'd be much easier. By the time he was on his way back with the empty cart, Roddy was exhausted. Will give him a drink from his water jug. Oh, said Roddy. I am so tired. How much more do we have to do? He raised his hand to take off his cap. We'll stop him. It's not time to take your cap off yet, Bach. Roddy and Will worked all day bringing the coal out of the mine. The work was very hard, and Roddy was so tired. At last, Will said it was time to stop. They both dragged the last cat out and climbed the lift to return to the top. Well done, said Will. You have worked really hard today. Roddy looked around and saw it was still dark. They had been down the mine from morning to night. They started walking down the mountain. Well, lad, you see what it's like to work in a mine. I reckon now it's time to take your cap off. Will patted Roddy in the back as Roddy reached to take his cap. There was another flash, and a bang. Roddy found himself back in the museum. Well, said a voice nearby. Roddy turned to face the tour guide Jack. This is where you got to. What have you been up to? I've been down a mine, I think, Roddy said. My great-great-great-great-grandfather worked in the mines. My family have all been miners, Jack told him. What was his name? Roddy asked. His name was Will, Jack replied, and he smiled.